Hi, this is Cass from Aussie Cass Plays, and welcome to Generation 2, Part 16 of my Medieval Legacy Challenge. I'm just going to start by saying I have a little bit of a cold at the moment, so sorry if I sound a bit sniffly or croaky. I will try and edit out any grossness from my commentary, but yeah, sorry about that in advance. Now, unfortunately, you'll see my Sims are all very sad. After I recorded the last part, I did a little bit of maintenance like I always do, go in, age up, move the world along a little bit. One of the things that I did was I went into Olivia's and David's household. I wanted to have the twins, so the teenage twins. Maybe I was going to play them for a day or two, have them go out and, maybe meet some people. I wanted to see if any of them had relationship with a female sim, that kind of thing, because I was thinking we play this household, but, obviously in the long run, they need to also potentially get married, that kind of thing. So that was what I tried to do. As soon as I loaded up the house, Olivia and David were actually they were in Rose's neighborhood. And I was like, oh, that's weird. Maybe they're visiting. So I clicked on them and instantly Olivia passed away. Like as soon as the game loaded, she died. I did get a couple of screenshots. They are on I'll put them on my Instagram. Because they were in the neighborhood, I imagine David then came running here to see if he could get help, which is why these guys all already know. We are going to hold a little funeral-y kind of thing for Olivia. I feel like she was such an awesome first gen. I want to call her the matriarch. I don't know what the right word is. She was our first gen medieval legacy sim. She deserves a good send-off. All right, you guys, we are at David's house, and you'll see I've actually given the place a little bit of a makeover. I've changed the exterior to bring it more in line with the kind of more modern Windenburg vibe rather than the old stone shack vibe, because the farm is doing pretty well. But I've also added a proper little kind of grave, I guess, for everybody. So we have the 4 headstones, because we also have the dog. We have David Sr., who is Olivia's dad. We have Olivia, and then we have Zachary. We are going to release her spirit to the netherworld, but I thought I'd have them mourn first. Now, the other bit of news that obviously is leaping out at us is little Andrea is pregnant. It's a little baby bump there going on. So, if you have any baby name suggestions, I would love to hear them. I might just actually pause her pregnancy while I think of it. Oh, she's pregnant with a girl. We didn't see that. Okay, I'm pausing her pregnancy. So once I have some baby name suggestions from you guys, I'll resume that and we can maybe have her give birth in the next part. So I'm trying to get everyone to just come to the grave. Maybe can we mourn together? There's not really an option for that. So they need to do grieving socials. It's under grieving in the main menu. That's why I can't find it. We'll talk about the loss. Poor Rose is absolutely devastated because now she's got no parents left alive. All right. Oh, Alana got a sentiment with Vivienne. It means, maybe Vivienne got a sentiment for Alana. We're having these guys, Thomas is having a cry. I'm going to get Rose let's offer gratitude, I guess. But I want her to do some grieving. We're going to talk about the loss. What's up, Rose? No, Marlena. Marlena's trying to hook us up with somebody. Oh my God. So I should probably have Rose congratulate her on her pregnancy as well, because obviously, death and then life comes from death. Well, it doesn't. I mean, it does, but the two facts are unrelated. So yeah, she's going to give her a hug and congratulate her on the pregnancy. Basically, they're all remembering what an awesome mother and grandmother Olivia was. And, she raised a passel of 5 kids and was an awesome mum and was the head of the family. She's the one that is the reason this garden, the farm is so thriving now. And she's raised 5 awesome kids. And mostly they've come through being, you know, teenagers unscathed. Obviously, Oliver has had some problems, but yeah, poor little Oliver, the vampire baby. Oh, look! Oh, Thomas is in here giving a little pep talk to Christopher. That's so sweet. He's in giving a little pep talk to his son in the room. Give him a cuddle. Now, you'll see I did change the interior a little bit because when I did the, you know, exterior changes, I also just rearranged the bedrooms. So, because Olivia had passed away, as much as it breaks my heart, I have moved David and Alana into the bigger room with the ensuite, and then each of the twin boys has their own room now, which is a luxury, frankly. Now, I don't know where the photo is of, here it is. I really want to get a copy of this for Rose or like take this, but I don't know that I can. Part of me likes it being in this house, right? Because this is the family home. The flip side of that is I kind of like the idea of having the main heir for the series have all the photos. Oh, Vivienne's playing guitar. Just like sad music. Can I get you to stop that? And I'm actually going to get her to come out here and release Olivia's spirit to the netherworld, because I don't do ghosts, Sims 4 ghosts in this series, because they're just so, like, destructive. I'd rather, when the Sims die, that they're gone in this series. Obviously, I have different rules for different series. My haunted house flipper, I brought someone back from the dead, but yeah. So I got little Vivienne coming out here. She's going to go say a little prayer for her grandmother and be like, you know, thank you so much, Grandma, for everything you've given our family. She's going around the back because of the way I've done. Oh, no, she's not. I was going to say the way I've done the decor, like I put flowers and things in front of the graves. So quite often they'll go around behind because there's more space. Okay, release spirit. Releasing Olivia's soul to the netherworld will forever free her spirit from this mortal realm. Are you sure you want to do this? Okay, so she's going to do that. Oh, she did go behind it. Goodbye, Olivia. I'm so sad. Little David did a sculpture. Yeah, there we go. So that is the funeral, I guess, for Olivia. Now, oh, she is here. I was going to say, where's Isabella? So I want to get Rose and Isabella to have a talk because obviously they're twins and she is very close to her. So we finished the actual day of grieving event. You've been given a moodlet or buff for completing the social event. Look out for new social interactions which expire with the moodlet or buff. I don't know. Oh, it must be this one. Rest in peace. Thank you for creating all of these amazing memories with me. These two are sitting down and she's like, you know, how are you going? They're having a bit of a chat and Isabella's saying, look, yeah, I mean, it's been really hard, but I think Mum would be really happy with, you know, what she achieved in life and she'd be really proud of her kids. I know she was proud of her kids. It's the best you can hope for, really, isn't it? Like, you get to the end of your life and you can look at your legacy and everything. And then she looks a bit sad and Rose is like, are you okay? And she's like, well, I sort of thought one day I might, you know, get married and stuff too. And that hasn't been the case, but... And then she's like, but what? Isabella's saying, look, it's really weird living with the Goths. You know, like, nobles. There's so much drama. And what I hope for and my place in their world don't always align. So, you know, I'm feeling a bit depressed. And she's like, well, what do you mean? What do you mean by drama? And she's like, well, I don't know if you heard, but George, who's Cassandra's husband, George convinced Mortimer that Alexander was working against the family interests and stuff and convinced him to throw him out. So I saw gossip about the neighbours in there. Just like, that seems appropriate. Yeah, here we go. So, you know, Alexander's actually not living with the house anymore. And Rose is like, well, isn't he the heir? And Isabella's saying, well, not anymore because, he's left. He's now living with his manservant. Like, they've moved into a house together. Now, Rose knows enough about the situation with Bentley and Alexander to read between the lines. Manservant is the polite way of saying it is his lover. But because they are gay, it's, you know, they're not married or anything because that's not legally allowed. She's explaining about how Alexander's moved out, and she thinks it's a bit of a power play by George, because if Alexander's cut out of the family sort of will and everything, then that means that George and then Cassandra, but also George as her husband, and then Victor will inherit. And she doesn't like to see that. She thinks that Mortimer's being played a little bit, and she really doesn't like to see that. Rose is noticing, because, you know, these guys are twins. They've known each other their entire lives. Rose is noticing that Isabella seems particularly concerned about Mortimer in all of this. Not even so much little Victor, who she's raising, but Mortimer. And she's like, honey, is there something going on? Like, I'm going to see if I can have her ask about Mortimer. Because obviously Rose gets on with Mortimer really well. She always has, because she's done so many dinner parties for them now. And she also feels concerned that if George is playing Mortimer, that's obviously not great. But I like Mortimer, he's pretty cool. And she's saying that, but Rose is like, do you have feelings towards Mortimer? She feels like there's more to that answer. Now, Isabella clearly doesn't seem to want to talk about it. Doesn't help that my Sims keep walking away and trying to give themselves pep talks. Isabella kind of didn't seem to want to answer that question about Mortimer. So Rose is sort of thinking, that's interesting. Now, what I'm going to do now, other than trying to get this house tidied up a little, is I'm going to take these Sims home. It is the weekend tomorrow, and Rose does need to have a dinner party this weekend. She sort of did it last weekend, but it was like a family function rather than a party for nobles. So it was technically a little bit cheeky. I'm going to have her maybe throw a dinner party at Alexander's house. So it's the next morning, and the kids are all awake, and they've actually, Vivienne's making some breakfast. It's just a salad. It's nothing exciting, but Vivienne's making breakfast. The kids are cleaning up a little bit, doing some chores. We're going to imagine that it was one of the kids that hung the washing on the line as opposed to one of the adults, because the kids can't actually do it. But it's also raining, so that washing's going to be there for a while. That's fine. I'm going to get him to come down, and the garden doesn't need watering, but he's going to weed and sell all. Now, we had almost no money because I've had Rose buy the ultimate vampire tome, which costs 1,000, plus I deducted the extra 500. So it costs 1,500. But then I have had them, sell the contents of their garden, and I can't think what else I sold, actually, but there were a few bits and pieces. Oh, actually, the other thing I sold was Thomas had autonomously crafted a few things which were in the household inventory, and these baths are worth about, they're 1,500 each. So I sold 2 of those. It was quite nice. So, if you ever have a sim with handiness 10 and you want to just make money, just crank out the baths, the timber baths. I think you might need island living for that particular thing. Otherwise, dining tables, pro tip for you. So poor Rose is very, very sad, but I do need her to throw her dinner party. We'll make it a Alexander and Bentley throwing a social gathering to celebrate moving out. It's kind of like a housewarming, and I guess, we'll catch you guys at the he's a grown man, the younger Goth household. Okay, so we've arrived at the new mini Goth residence. I keep calling it that. I got this one from the gallery. I think it's a stunning, stunning lot. It's called Medieval House by Dracifer, so Dracifer, and it is stunning. And I just realized I didn't even throw it a like. It is beautiful, beautiful house. So this is actually the little library next door. And so I've started having to do spillover into other neighborhoods because obviously Windenburg is full. And this little house here I've just downloaded today because One of you very kindly made me a new sim family called the Weavers. So I've put them here so that they're not like homeless townies. So they have a house, which is very exciting. So they were made by Angie M 1969, and I have placed them largely as is. I just added a little bit of CC in the way of like eyelashes and skin details, and I tinkered with a couple of the outfits where I thought I had, you know, CC. Mainly, I think it was the little girl, Erica. So she's in here, she's just cooking a meal, you know, keeping her ears peeled for the Goths. Now, Alexander has come into the kitchen just to wash his hands because he's a good boy prior to eating. Now, he seems reasonably... Oh, he's such a bookworm. So he's like, you know, do you have everything you need for the party? You know, because he's been to a lot of parties Rose has thrown for his family, but he's never actually had to coordinate one before because Bella and Mortimer have primarily kind of taken the lead on that kind of thing. So, yeah, she's like, no, I've got everything I need. Thank you very much. You know, your new home is beautiful. And he's like, yeah, thank you. I'm just lucky that, like, I had inheritance money that was just mine. You know, now with everything going on. And she's like, oh, you know, pretending she hasn't heard because she's being polite. You know, what's going on? Oh, they're having a negative interaction. What's that all about? He's thinking negative thoughts about her. Maybe he's like suddenly realized he shouldn't be talking to the help about his family situation, which, you know, is fair. I got some new CC. I think if you've seen For the Love of Sims, you will have seen this bit of CC before. It's like an older fashioned stove. It is not medieval, but let's be real, 99% of what I have these Sims doing and wearing and interacting with is not, strictly speaking, medieval. Like, a medieval peasant wore a tunic and tights. All of them wore tunics and tights. And nobles wore tunics and fancier hose. You know, but I've got nice dresses and stuff, so their outfits aren't period anyway, so having something that looks a bit more like an electric stove, I'm like, it's different. I usually just use the Realm of Magic one for everything, but yeah, it's nice to have something a little bit different to look at occasionally. Yeah, once she's done the cookies, she can like socialize for a little bit. We've already got gold on the event, so I'm not too stressed, but we'll reimburse her for the cost of the party and everything like I always do. I did write down how much money we had. I'm thinking I might start doing 200 instead of 150 just because, you know, she's more of a high-end caterer now. It's not like when she first started. She's known throughout the nobility of Windenburg as the go-to caterer for if you want to have an event. So in terms of her goals, like getting towards our goals for this generation, she's almost Vampire Law 14. So I actually think by the next part, she'll be able to, like, we'll probably actually have met the requirements that we've set for ourselves. I do want her to actually return Oliver to his normal human state. David actually has written to Oliver, obviously, to be like, look, Mum's passed away. Oliver wouldn't have received that letter yet, but I'm actually thinking in the next part or two, Oliver's actually going to come home because he's been a vampire now. I mean, he became a vampire before Desiree was conceived, because she was conceived in the Forgotten Realm. Desiree is now a teenager. She's the same age as Vivienne, so maybe 14. So he's been a vampire for you know, almost 15 years now. And his initial lack of control, which was the reason he stayed in the Forgotten Kingdom, he's getting it under control now. Like, he's better at not biting people. Him receiving the news that his mum's passed away and realising he missed his father's death, he missed his mother's death, he wasn't able to be at the funerals of either of them. Desiree's never met the rest of her family. Like, it's time for them to come home. So I'm thinking in the next part or two, we're going to have Oliver come back. Now, he's obviously still a vampire. She hasn't figured out how to cure him yet. So we'll have to figure out where he's going to live and how they're going to manage it, because him being a vampire in Windenburg would get him in trouble with the Crown. The Crown has some pretty strong feelings about the presence of vampires. They used to deny they existed, but now they know they exist. A vampire being in Windenburg is an act of war. Oh, Andrea misses her sister. I might leave this part here I don't know how long it's been. I always say that because I cut so much out, like all of the kind of Sims not doing what I want and all of that kind of thing. I would never know how long it's going to end up being when I'm done, but I'd love to get baby name suggestions for you guys for Andrea's baby. And if you, again, want to make any Sims or anything. Now, one of the Sims in this household is a teenage boy, which is very exciting. So it'd be nice to get Vivienne to be able to meet him, and we'll see if they have any chemistry. That'd be awesome. I'm going to leave this part here. If you've enjoyed, please like and subscribe. You know the drill. Don't forget to wash your hands, and I will catch you next time. Thanks for watching.